Hi, I'm back. I'll be reading chapter 11 of the book Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Chapter 11 The Sorting Hat's New Song. Harry did not want to tell the others that he and Luna were having the same hallucination, if that was what it was. So he said nothing about the horse as he sat down inside the carriage and slammed the door behind him. Nevertheless, he could not help watching the silhouettes of the horses moving beyond the window. Did everyone see that corpulently plank woman? Asked Gingy. What's she doing back here? Hagrid can't have left, can he? I will be. I will be quite glad if he has to, Luna. He isn't a very good teacher, is he? Yes, he is, said Harry, Ron, and Gingy angrily. Harry glared at Hermione. She cleared her throat and quickly said, ERM. Yes, he's very good. Well, we think he's a bit of a joke in Ravenclaw, said Luna, unfazed. You have you have got a rubbish sense of humor then, Ron snapped as the wheels below them creaked into motion. Luna did not seem perturbed by Ron's rudeness. On the contrary, she simply watched him for a while as though he were a mildly interesting television program. pro- Television program. Rattling and swaying, the carriages moved in convoy up the road. When they passed between the tall stone pillars topped with winged boars on either side of the gates to the school grounds, Harry leaned forward to try and see whether there were any lights on in Hagrid's cabin by the Forbidden Forest, but the grounds were in complete darkness. Hogwarts Castle, however, loomed ever closer, a towering mass of torrents, jet, jet black against the dark sky. Here and there, a window blazing very bright, above them. The carriages jingled to a halt near the stone steps leading up to the oak front doors, and Harry got out of the carriage first. He turned again to look for lit windows down by the forest, but there was definitely no sign of life within Hagrid's cabin. Unwillingly, because he had half hope they would have vanished. He turned his eyes instead upon the strange skeletal creature standing quietly in the chair night air, their blank white eyes gleaming. Harry had once before had the experience of seeing something that one could not, but that had been a reflection in a mirror, something much more insubstantial than a hundred fa- very solid-looking beasts strong enough to pull a fleet of carriages. If Luna was to be believed, the beasts had always been there, but invisible. Why then could Harry suddenly see them, and why could one not? Are you coming, or what? Said one beside him. Oh yes, said Harry quickly, and they joined the crowd hurrying up the stone steps into the castle. The entrance hall was ablaze with torches and echoing with footsteps as the students crossed the flatted stone floor for the double doors to the right leading to the great hall and the start of time feast. The four long house tables in the great hall were filling up under the starless black ceiling, which was which was just like the sky. They could they could they could they could glimpse through the high windows. Candles floated in midair all along the tables, illuminating the several egos who were dotted about the hall and the faces of the students talking eagerly to one another, exchanging summer news, shouting greetings at friends from other houses, eyeing one another's new haircuts and robes. Again, Harry noticed people putting their heads together to whisper. As he passed, he gritted his teeth and tried to act as though he neither noticed nor cared. Luna drifted away from them at the Ravenclaw table. The moment they reached Gryffindor's, Gingy was hailed by some fellow fourth years and left to sit with Harry, Ron, Hermione, and Neville, found seats together about halfway down the table between nearly headless Nick, the Gryffindor house ghost, and P-A-R-V-A-T-I-P-A-T-I-L, and Lavender Brown, the last two, of whom gave Harry airy, overly friendly greetings that made him quite sure they had stopped talking about him a split second before. He had more important things to worry about, however. He was looking over the students' heads to the staff to the staff table that ran along the top wall of the hall. He's not there, Ron and Hermione scanned the staff table too, though there was no real need. Hagrid's size made him instantly obvious in any lineup. He can't have left someone sounding slightly anxious. Of course he hasn't, said Harry firmly. You don't think he's hot or anything, do you? Said Hermione uneasily. No, said Harry at once. But where is he then? There was a pause, and Harry said very quietly, so that Neville, P-A-R-V-A-T-Y, and Lavender could 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 not hear. Maybe he's not back yet. You know, from his mission, the thing he was doing over the summer for Dumbledore. Yeah, yeah, that will be it, said one, sounding reassured, but Hermione bit her lip, looking up and down the staff table as though hoping for some conclusive explanation of Hagrid's absence. Absence. Who's that? She said softly, pointing toward the middle of the staff table. Harry's eyes followed hers. They lit first upon Professor Dumbledore sitting in his high backed golden chair at the center of the long staff table, wearing deep purple robes scattered with silvery stars and a matching hat. Dumbledore's head was inclined toward the woman sitting next to him, who was talking into his ear. She looked, Harry thought, well, like somebody's maiden aunt, and squat, with short curly mouse brown hair in which she had placed a horrible pink Alice band that matched the fluffy pink cardigan she wore over her robes. Then she turned her face slightly to take a sip from a goblet, and he saw, with the shock of recognition, a pallid, toad-like face and a pair of prominent, pouchy eyes. It's that Umbridge woman who said Hermione. She was at my hearing. She works for Fudge. She works for Fudge. Nice. Cardigan, said one, smoking. She works for Fudge, Hermione repeated, frowning. What on earth's she doing here, then? I'm recording. Okay. What on earth she's doing here, then? Don't know. Hermione scanned the staff table, her eyes narrowed. No, she muttered. No, surely not. Harry did not understand what she was talking about, but did not ask. His attention had been ju- just just caught by Professor Bubbly Plank, who had just appeared behind the staff table. She walked all the way along to the very end and took the seat that ought to have been Hagrid's. That meant that the first years must have crossed the lake and reached the castle, and sure enough, a few seconds later the doors from the entrance hall opened. A long line of scared looking first years entered, led by Professor McGonagall, who was carrying a stool on which sat an ancient wizard's hat, heavily patched and darned with a wide whip near the frayed brim. The buzz, a talk in the great hall faded away. The first years lined up in front of the staff table, facing the rest of the students, and Professor McGonagall placed the stool carefully in front of them, then stood back. Then stood back. The first year's faces glowed palely in the candlelight. A small boy right in the middle of the row looked as though he was trampling. Here we recalled fleetingly how terrified he had felt when he had stood there waiting for the unknown test that would determine mine to which house he belonged. The whole school waited with bated breath. Then the whip near the hat's brim opened wide like a mouth, and the sorting house burst into song. Into song. In times of old when I was new and Hogwarts barely started, the founders of our noble school, though never to be parted, united by a common goal, they had the self same yearning to make the world's best magical and pass along their learning together. We will build and teach. The four good friends decided, and never did they dream that they might someday be divided. For for where there for where there for there for where there for where there such friends anywhere as Slytherin and Gryffindor, unless it was the second pair of Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw. So how could it have gone so wrong? How could such friendships fail? Why, I was there, and so can tell the whole sad, sorry tale, said Slytherin. We would teach just just those whose ancestry is purest, said the Ravenclaw. We would we would teach those whose intelligence is sorest, said Gryffindor. We would teach all those with brave deeds to their names, said Hufflepuff. I would teach the lot and treat them just the same. Just the same. These differences caused little strife when first they came to life, for each of the four founders had a house in which they might they might take only those they wanted. So, for instance, Slytherin took only pure blood wizards of great cunning, just like him, and only those of sharpest mind were taught by Ravenclaw, while the bravest and the boldest went to daring Gryffindor. Good Hufflepuff. She took the rest and taught them all. She knew thus the houses and their founders retained friendships firm and true. So Hogwarts worked in harmony for several happy years, but then discord crept among us, feeding on our faults and fears fears. The houses that, like pillars four, had once held up our school now turned upon each other and divided sought to war. And for a while it seemed the school must meet an early end with with dueling and with fighting and the clash of friend on friend. And at last there came a morning when our Slytherin departed, and though the fighting then died out, he left us quite downhearted, and never since the founders four were whittled down to three have the houses been united as they as have been united as they once were meant to be, and now the sorting hat is here, and you all know the score. I sort you into houses because that is what I am for. But this year I will. Godfather, listen closely to my song. Though condemned, I am split. I am to split you. Still, I worry that it's wrong. Though I must fulfill my duty and must quarter every year. Still, I wonder whether sorting may not bring the end. I fear. Oh no, the pause. Read the signs. The warning. History shows for our Hogwarts is in danger from external deadly foes, and we must unite inside her, or we will crumble from within. I have told you. I have warned you. I have warned you. Let the sorting now begin. Now begin. The hat became motionless. Once more applause broke out, though it was punctured for the second time in Harry's memory with muttering and whispers. All across the great hall students were exchanging remarks with their neighbors, and Harry, clapping along with everyone else, knew exactly what they were talking about. Branched, branched out a bit this year, hasn't it? Said one, his eyebrows raised. Too right it has, said Harry. The sorting hat usually confined itself to describing the different qualities looked for by each of the four Hogwarts houses and its own wall, and sorted them. Harry could not remember could not remember it ever trying to give the school advice before. I wonder if it's ever if it's ever if it's ever given warnings before ceremony. Sounding slightly anxious. Yes, indeed, said Nearly, headless neck unknowledgeably, leaning across Never told her Never went. It was very uncomfortable to have a ghost lean through you. The hat feels itself honor bound to give the school due warning whenever it feels. But Professor McGonagall, who was waiting to read out the list of first year's names, was giving the whispering students the sort of look that scorches nearly headless neck placed as he threw finger to his lips and sat primly upright again as the muttering came to an abrupt end, with a last flowering look that swept the four house tables. Professor McGonagall lowered her eyes to a long piece of parchment and called out A-B-E-R-E-R-E-R CROMBIEEUAN. The terrified looking boy Harry had noticed Oliver stumbled forward and put the hat on his head. It was only prevented from falling right down to his shoulder by his very prominent ears. The hat considered for a moment, then the whip near the brim opened again and shouted, Gryffindor! Gryffindor! Harry clapped loudly with the rest of Gryffindor House as EUAN, ABER, ABE, ABER, CROMBIE staggered to their table and sat down, looking as though he would like very much, very much to sink through the floor and never be looked at again. Again, slowly the long line of Fortiers thinned. In the pauses between the names and the sorting house decision, Harry could hear Ron's stomach rumbling loudly. Finally, Zellner Rose was sorted into Hufflepuff, and Professor McGonagall picked up the hat and stool and marched them away as Professor Dumbledore rose to his feet. Harry was somehow soothed to see Dumbledore standing before them all, whatever his recent bitter feelings toward his headmaster. Between the absence of Hagrid and the presence of the dragonish horses, he had felt that his return to Hogwarts, so long anticipated, was full of unexpected surprises, like jarring notes in a familiar song. But this, at least, was how it was supposed to be. The headmaster rising to greet them all before the start of Tom's feast. A feast. Before the start of Tom's feast. To our newcomer, said Dumbledore in a ringing voice, his arms stretched wide and a beaming smile on his lips. Welcome to our old hands. Welcome back. There is a time for speech making, but this is not it. Tuck in. There was an appreciative laughter and an outbreak of applause as Dumbledore sat down neatly and threw his long beard over his shoulder so as to keep it out of the way of his plate for food had appeared out of nowhere, so that the five long tables were groaning under joints, and pies and dishes of vegetables, bread, sauces, and flagons of pumpkin juice. Excellent, said Juan with a kind of groan of longing, and he seized the nearest plate of chops and began piling them onto his plate, watched wistfully by nearly headless Nick. "What were you saying before the sorting?" Hermione asked the ghost. "About the hat giving warnings?" "Ah, yes," said Nick, who seemed glad of a reason to turn away from one who was now eating roast potatoes with almost indecent enthusiasm. "Yes, I have heard the hat give several warnings before, always at times when it detects periods of great danger for the school, and always, of course, its advice is the same: stand together, be strong from within. OWKUNNITNOFE SKUSSIN danger IFZAT, said Juan. His mouth was so full Harry thought it was quite an treatment for him to make any noise at all. "I beg your pardon," said Nellie, headless Nick politely, while Hermione looked revolted. Juan gave an enormous swallow and said, "How can it know if the school's in danger if it's a hat?" "I have no idea," said Nearly Headless Nick. "Of course it lives in Dumbledore's office, so I dare say it picks things up there, and it wants all the houses to be friends," said Harry, looking over at the Slytherin table where Draco Malfoy was holding court. Fat chance. Fat chance. "Well, now, you shouldn't take that attitude," said Nick. So Nick, so Nick, we provenly peaceful cooperation. That's the key. We ghosts, though we belong to separate houses, maintain links of friendship in spite of the competitiveness between Gryffindor and Slytherin. I would never dream of seeking an argument with the bloody Baron only because you are terrified of him," said one. So on nearly Headless Nick looked slightly affronted. "Terrified? I hope I saw Nicholas DEMIMSYPORPINGTON have never been guilty of cowardice in my life. The noble blood that runs in my veins. What blood has run? Surely you haven't still got it's a figure of speech," said Nearly Headless Nick, now so annoyed. His head was trembling ominously on his partially severed neck. "I assume I am still allowed to enjoy the use of whichever words I like, even if the pleasures of eating and drinking are denied me. But I am quite used to students poking fun at my death, I assure you." "Nick, he wasn't really laughing at you," said Hermione, throwing a furious look at Juan. Unfortunately, Juan's mouth was packed to exploding point again, and all he could manage was NODEIDDUMEEEEEET N-T-U-P-S-E-C-H-E-W, which Nick did not seem to think constituted an accurate apology. Rising into the air, he straightened his feathered hat and swept away from them to the other end of the table, coming to rest between the Creevey brothers, Colin and Dennis. Well done, Juan, snapped Hermione. What? Said Juan indignantly, having managed finally to swallow his food. I am not allowed to ask a simple question. Oh, forget it, said Hermione irritably, and the pair of them spent the rest of the meal in happy silence. Harry was too used to the bickering to to bother trying to reconcile them. He felt he felt it was a better use of his time to eat his way steadily through his steak and kidney pie than a large plateful of his favorite typical TREACLE talk. When all the students had finished eating and the noise level in the hall to was starting to creep upward again, Dumbledore got to his feet once more. Talking ceased immediately as all turned to face the headmaster. Harry was feeling pleasantly drowsy now. His four-poster bed was waiting somewhere above, wonderfully warm and soft. Well, now that we are all digesting another magnificent feast, I beg a few moments of your attention for the usual starter term notices, said Dumbledore. First years ought to know that the forest in the ground in the in the grounds is out of bounds to students, and a few of our older students ought to know by now too. Harry, Ron, and Hermione exchanged smirks. Mr. Filch, the caretaker, has asked me for what he tells me is the 462nd time to remind you all that magic is not permitted in quarters between classes, nor are a number of other things, all of which can be checked on the extensive list now fastened to Mr. Filch's office door office store. We have had two changes in staffing this year. We are very pleased to welcome back Professor Groubbly Plank, who will be taking care of magical creatures lesson. We are also delighted to introduce Professor Umbridge, our new defense against the dark arts teacher. There was a round of polite but fairly unenthusiastic applause, during which Harry Ron, and Hermione exchanged slightly panicked looks. Dumbledore had not said for how long Groubbly Plank would be teaching. Dumbledore continued. Tryouts for the House Quidditch teams will take place on the. He broke off, looking inquiringly at Professor Umbridge, as she was not much taller standing than sitting. There was a moment when nobody understood why Dumbledore had stopped talking, but then Professor Umbridge said AGM, and it became clear that she had got to her feet and was intending to make a speech. Dumbledore only looked taken aback for a moment. Then he sat back down smartly and looked alertly at Professor Umbridge, as though he desired nothing better than to listen to her talk. Other members of the staff were not as apt at hiding their surprise. Professor Sprout's eyebrows had disappeared into her flyaway hair, and Professor McGonagall's mouth was was as thin as Harry had ever seen it. No, noon teacher had ever interrupted Dumbledore before. Many other students were smoking. This woman obviously did not know how things were done at Hogwarts. Thank you, Headmaster. Professor Umbridge simpered for for those kind words of welcome. Her voice was high pitched, breathy, and little girlish, and again Harry felt a powerful rush of dislike that he could not explain to himself. All he knew was that he loathed everything about her, from her stupid voice to her fluffy pink Cardigan. She gave another little throat clearing cough, Hem, and continued, "Well, it is lovely to be back at Hogwarts, I must say," she smiled, revealing very pointed teeth, "and to see such happy little faces looking back at me." Harry glanced around. Harry glanced around. None of the faces he could see looked happy. On the contrary, they all looked rather taken aback at being addressed as though they were 5 years old. "I am very much looking forward to getting to know you all, and I am sure we will be very good friends." Students exchanged looks at this. Some of them were barely concealing grins. "I will be her friend as long as I don't have to borrow that Cardigan, whispered to Lavender, and both of them lapsed into silent giggles. Professor Umbridge cleared her her throat again. Hem. But when she continued, some of the breathiness had vanished from her voice. She sounded much more businesslike, and now her words had a dull, long by heart sound to them. To them, the Ministry of Magic has always considered the education of young witches and wizards to be of vital importance. The real gift, the real gifts with which you were born may come to nothing if not nurtured and honed by careful instruction. The ancient skills unique to the wizarding community must be passed down through the generations, lest we lose them forever. The treasure trove of magical knowledge amassed by our ancestors must be guarded, replenished, and polished by those who have been called to the noble profession of teaching. Of teaching. Professor Umbridge paused here and made a little bow to her fellow staff members, none of whom bowed back. Professor McGonagall's dark eyebrows had contracted so that she looked positively hawk-like, and Harry distinctively saw her exchange a significant glance with Professor Sprout as Umbridge gave another Hem, and went on with her speech. Every headmaster and headmistress of Hogwarts has brought something new to the weighty task of governing this historic school. Uh, uh, Governing this historic school, and that and this governing this historic school, and that is as it should be. For without progress, there will be stagnation and decay. There again, progress for progress' sake must be discouraged. For our tried and tested tradition often require no tinkering. A balance then between old and new, between permanence and change, between tradition and innovation. Here we found his attentiveness ebbing, as though his brain was slipping in and out of tune. The quiet that always filled the hall when Dumbledore was speaking was breaking up as students put their heads together, whispering and giggling at the Raven over at the Ravenclaw table. Cho Chang was chatting animally with her friends. A few seats along Funchal, Luna Loveglove had got out the quibble again. Meanwhile, at the Hufflepuff table, ERNIE, Macmillan was one of the few still staring at Professor Umbridge, but he was glassy-eyed, and Harry was so he was only pretending to listen in an attempt to live up to the new prefect's badge gleaming on his chest. Professor Umbridge did not seem to notice the restlessness of her audience. Harry had the impression that a full-scale riot could could have broken out under her nose, and she would have plowed on with the speech. The teachers, however, were still listening very attentively, and Hermione seemed to be drinking in every word Umbridge spoke. So, though judging by her expression, they were not at all to her taste, because some change, because some change, because some changes will be for the better, while others will come in the fullness of time to be recognized as errors of judgment. Meanwhile, some old habits will be retained, and rightly so, whereas others, outmoded and outworn, must be abandoned must be abandoned. Let us move forward. Let us move forward then into a new era of openness, effectiveness, and accountability, intent on preserving what ought to be preserved, perfecting what needs to be perfected, and pruning wherever we find practices that ought to be prohibited. Prohibited. She sat down. Dumbledore clapped the staff, followed his lead, though Harry noticed that several of them brought their hands together only once or twice before before stopping. A few students joined in, but most have been taken unawares by the end of the speech, not having listened to more than a few words of it, and before they could start applauding properly, Dumbledore had stood up again. Stood up again. Thank you very much, Professor Umbridge. That was most illuminating, he said, bowing to her. Now, as I was saying, Quidditch tryouts will be held. Yes, it certainly was illuminating, said Hermione in a low voice. You are not telling me you enjoyed it once, said quietly, turning a glazed face upon Hermione. That was about the dullest speech I have ever heard, and I grew up with Percy. I said illuminating, not enjoyable, said Hermione. It explained a lot. A lot. Did it, said Harry in surprise. Sounded like a load of water to me. There was some Important stuff hidden in the waffles, said Hermione grimly. Was there someone blankly? How about progress? For progress sake, must be discouraged. How about how about how about pruning? Pruning. Wherever we find practices that ought to be prohibited. Well, what does that mean? Said Juan impatiently. I will tell you what it means, said Hermione through gritted teeth. It means the ministries interfering at Hogwarts. There was a great clattering and banging all around them. Dumbledore had obviously just dismissed the school because everyone was standing up ready to leave the hall. Hermione jumped up, looking flustered. Ron, we are supposed to show the first years where to go. Oh yes, the one who had obviously forgotten. Hey, 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 you lot midgets want? Well, they are itchy, I know. But you can't call them midgets. First year, Hermione called commandingly along the table. This way, please. This way, please. A group of new students walked shyly up the gap between the Gryffindor and Hufflepuff tables, all of them trying hard not to lead the group. They did indeed seem very small. Harry was tall. He had not appeared that young when he had arrived here. He grinned at them, a blond boy next to EUAN. ABERCROMBIE looked petrified, nudged EUAN and whispered something in his ear. EUAN ABERCROMBIE looked equally frightened and stole a horrified look at Harry, who felt the grin slide off his face like stins like stink sap. See you later, he said dully to Ron and Hermione, and he made his way out of the great hall alone, doing everything he could to ignore more whispering, staring, and pointing as he passed. He kept his eyes fixed ahead as he wove his way through the crowd in the entrance hall. Then he hurried up the marble stair. Then he hurried up the marble staircase. Then he hurried up the marble staircase. Took a couple of concealed shortcuts and had soon left most of the crowds behind. He had been stupid not to expect this, he thought angrily, as he walked through much emptier upstairs quarters. Of course, everyone was staring at him. He had emerged from the Triwizard Maze two months ago, clutching the dead body of a fellow student and claiming to have seen Lord Baltimore return to power. There had there had not been there had not been time last term to explain himself before to explain himself before everyone went home, even if he had he had he had felt giving even if he had felt he had he had felt he had felt up to giving the whole school a detailed account of the terrible events in that graveyard. He had reached the end of the corridor to the Gryffindor common room and had come to a halt in front of the portrait of the fat lady before he realized that he did not know the new password. Eeyore, he said grumpily, staring up at the fat lady who smoothed the folds of a pink satin dress and looked sternly back at him. No password, no interest. No entrance, she said loftily. Harry, I know it, someone panted from behind him, and he turned to see Neville, jogging toward him. Guess what it is? I'm actually going to be able to marry, to remember it for once, he waved. The stunted little cactus. He had shown them on the train. Mimbulus. Mimbleetonia. Correct, said the fat lady, and her portrait swung open toward them like a door, revealing a circular hole in the wall behind, through which Harry and Neville now clambered. The Gryffindor common room looked as welcoming as ever, a cozy circular tower room full of, full of, full of DILAPIDATED squashy armchairs and wicker old tables. A fire was crackling merrily in the grate, and a few people were warming their hands before going up to their dormitories. On the other side of the room, Fred and George Weasley were pinning something up on the notice board. Wait, Harry waved good night to them and head straight for the door to the boys' dormitories. He was not in much of a mood for talking at the moment. Neville followed him. Dean Thomas and Seamus Finnegan had reached the dormitory first and were in the process of covering the walls beside the beds with posters and photographs. They had been talking as Harry forced open the door but stopped abruptly the moment they saw him. Harry wondered whether they had been talking about him. Then then, whether he was being paranoid. Hi, he said, moving across to his own trunk and opening it. Hey, Harry, said Dean, who was putting on a pair of pajamas in the West Ham colors. Good holiday? Good holiday? Not bad, muttered Harry, as a true account of his holiday have would have taken most of the night to relate, and he could not face it. Yeah, it was okay, chuckled Dean. Better than Seamus anyway. He was just telling me. Telling me. Why? What happened? Seamus Neville asked as he placed his Mimbuletonia tenderly on his bedside cabinet. Seamus did not answer immediately. He was making rather a meal of ensuring that his poster of the KENNAREKESTRELS Quidditch team was quite straight. Then he said, with his back still turned to Harry, "My mom didn't want me to come back." "What?" said Harry, pausing in the act of pulling off his robes. She didn't want me to come back to Hogwarts." Seamus turned away from his poster and pulled his own pajamas out of his trunk, still not looking at Harry. "But why?" said Harry, astonished. He knew that Seamus' mother was a witch and could not I could not understand, therefore, why why she why why she should have why why she should have come over so dolly-ish. Seamus did not answer until he had finished buttoning his pajamas. Well, he said in a measured voice, I suppose because of you. What do you mean? Said Harry quickly. His heart was beating rather fast. He felt vaguely as though as though something was closing in on him. Well, said Seamus again, still avoiding Harry's eyes. Well, it's not just you, it's Dumbledore, too. She believes the Daily Prophet, said Harry. She thinks I'm a liar and Dumbledore's an old fool. Seamus looked up at him. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Harry said nothing. He threw his wand down onto his bedside table, pulled off his robe, stuffed them angrily into his trunk, and pulled on his pajamas. He was sick of it. Sick of being the person who was stared at and talked about all the time. If any of them knew, if any of them had the faintest idea what it felt like to be the the one all these things had happened to. Miss Finnegan had no idea. The stupid woman, he thought savagely. He got into bed and made to pull the hangings close around him. But before he could do so, Seamus said, "Look, what what did what did happen that night when you know when with Cedric Diggory and all." Seamus sounded nervous and eager. At the same time, Dean, who had been, been bending over his trunk, trying to trying to retrieve a slipper, went oddly still, and Harry knew he was listening hard. What are you asking me for? Harry retorted. Just read the Daily Prophet, like your mother. Why don't you? That would tell you all you need to know. Don't you have a go at my mother? Snapped Seamus. I will have a go at anyone who calls me a liar, said Harry. Don't talk to me like that. Like that. I will talk to you how I want, said Harry, his temper rising so fast he snatched his wand back from his bedside table. If you have got a problem sharing a dormitory with me, go and ask McGonagall if you can be moved. Stop your mommy worrying. Leave my mother out of this, Potter. What's going on? What's going on? Ron had appeared in the doorway. His wide eyes traveled from Harry, who was kneeling on his bed with his wand pointing at Seamus, to Seamus, who was standing there with his fist raised. He's having a go at my mother, Seamus yelled. Seamus yelled, "What's that one?" Harry. Harry wouldn't do that. We met your mother. We liked her. That's before she started believing every word the stinking Daily Prophet writes about me, said Harry at the top of his voice. Oh, so on. Comprehension drawing across his freckled face. Oh, right. You know what, Seamus heatedly, casting Harry a venomous look. He's right. I don't want to share a dormitory with him anymore. He's a madman. He's a madman. That's out of order, Seamus, said Juan, whose ears were starting to glow red. Always, always a danger sign. Out of order, am I? Shouted Seamus, who, in contrast with Juan, was turning paler. You believe all the all the rubbish he's come out come out come out with come out with about you. You know who, do you? You reckon he's telling the truth? Yeah, I do, said one angrily. Then you are. Mad too, says Seamus in disgust. Yeah, well, unfortunately for you, pal, I am also a prefect, said one, jabbing himself in the chest with a finger. So unless you want attention, watch your mouth. Seamus looked for a few seconds as though detention would be a reasonable price to pay to pay to pay to say what was going through his mind, but with a noise, a contempt, he turned on his heel, bolted into bed, and pulled the hangings shut with such violence that they were whipped from the bed and fell in a dusty pile to the floor. Juan glared at Seamus, then looked at Dean and Neville. Anyone else's parents got a problem with Harry? He said aggressively. My parents are my mates, said Dean, shrugging. They don't know. They don't know nothing about no deaths at Hogwarts because I am not stupid enough to tell them. You don't know. You don't know my mother. She will weasel anything out of anyone. Seamus snapped at him anyway. Your parents don't get the daily profit. They don't know. Our headmaster's been sacked from the WIZENGAMOT and the international and the and the and the international conference of wizards because he's losing his marbles. My gran says that's rubbish, piped up Neville. She says it's the Daily Prophet that's going down here, not Dumbledore. She's cancelled our subscription. We believe Harry, he said simply. He climbed into bed and pulled the covers up to his chest, looking owlishly over them as Seamus. My grands always said you know who would come back one day. It Dumbledore she, she says if Dumbledore says he's back, he's back. He's back. Harry felt a rush of gratitude toward Neville. Nobody else said anything. Seamus got out his wand, repaired the bed hangings, and vanished behind them. Dean got into bed, rolled over, and fell silent. Neville, who appeared to have nothing more to say either, was gazing fondly at his moonlit cactus. Harry lay back on his pillow while Juan bustled around the next bed, putting his things away. He felt shaken by the argument with with Seamus, whom he had always liked very much. How many more people were going to suggest that he was lying or unhinged? Or unhinged? Had Dumbledore suffered like this or something at as first the WIZENGAMOT, international then the International Confederation of Wizards had thrown him from their wings. Was it anger at Harry, perhaps, that had stopped Dumbledore that had stopped Dumbledore getting in touch with him for months? The two of them were in this together after all. Dumbledore had believed Harry announced his version of events to the whole school and then to the wider wizarding community. Anyone who thought Harry was a liar had to think that Dumbledore was too, or else that Dumbledore had been hood had been HOODWINKED. They will know we are right in the end, thought Harry miserably, as Ron got into bed and extinguished the last candle in the dormitory. But he wondered how many attacks, like Seamus, he would have to endure before that before that before that time came. Before that time came. Okay, that's the end of chapter 11. Okay, bye bye.